Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the next edition of our Expert Hangouts. It's Friday night, and we're just about one night ahead of what is probably the most exciting main round in the history of the Women's EHF Champions League. That was reason enough for us to call this spontaneous hangout and talk about the matches where it still matters and where there's a lot at stake, meaning a berth at the quarterfinals. I'm very pleased to welcome our expert panel here tonight. Joining us from Denmark is our Scandinavian correspondent, Peter Brun. Hi, Peter.
Hi, everyone, and good afternoon, Europe. Here in my country, we still call it afternoon at this point of the day.
Thanks, Peter. He gets all the light the right side of his face. It's definitely afternoon. I forgot Joachim to ask where he's based at the moment. Are you joining us from the States?
That's right, yes, New York.
Okay, so it's probably 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm pleased to welcome Joachim Schütz, who runs the Handball blog Streckspiller.com. How are you, Joachim?
Fine, thank you. We're in summertime already, so it's 5 hours.
Oh, it's 5 hours, so it's 12. Okay.
So it's nearly lunchtime then.
Yes.
Joining us from Macedonia, our correspondent for everything that goes on in and around Vardar is Amina. How are you, Amina?
Hi, Thomas. Hello, everyone. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
And, fourth in our round is Adrian Costello. He knows literally everything about Baia Mare and obviously also about the other teams in the competition. Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Hello, Thomas. Hello, everyone. I'm very fine, thanks. I can't wait for the games to begin in this weekend. It will be a very crazy weekend in the Women's EHF Champions League.
It'll be a crazy weekend. What's the I'll start with you. What's the mood in Baia Mare ahead of this decisive match against Viborg?
Well, they had quite a bleak mood after last week because they lost against CSM Bucharest on Wednesday in the Romanian Championship. Then they lost against Györ in the EHF Women's Champions League. So both games were lost with the same score, 29-23, and they were quite sad after these matches. They said they are very tired. But now, after a win against Dunărea Brăila on Wednesday, 41-20, things are looking very good for Baia Mare. They are full of strength, they said, and I think that they are going to give a proper fight against Viborg.
Well, that's a very neutral answer. What does it mean, proper fight? Is that enough to beat them? What's your opinion? Will we see them in the quarterfinal?
It's hard to say right now because Viborg won against Metz, and this was a big surprise for Baia Mare. They were expecting a win, a French win there, but I think they are really pumped up, and their biggest advantage will be the home court. Even if they lost against Györ or against Metz in this season, the hall and the fans can be very, very supportive. There will be a packed hall. 3,000 fans will be there, and I really think this will make the difference for Baia Mare because when things are bad for the team, the fans can really regroup there. They make a lot of noise both in attack and in the defense, and this will affect Viborg's play. Surely it will affect Viborg's play.
Peter, what do you think? Is the full hall affecting Viborg's play? Is the long list of injuries affecting Viborg's play, or is the new coach they employed recently, is he actually turning it all upside down and bringing the positives out?
Well, first of all, I remember our latest or our previous hangout, and I wish I didn't because I was absolutely wrong predicting the match between Metz and Viborg. My only consolation is that we all were, the whole panel was wrong. We were sure that Viborg was going to lose that match, and they would be more or less out of the competitions by now. As we all know, and as Adrian also pointed out, Viborg won that match very surprisingly, meaning that they are still in the race and have their fate in their own hands. What will be decisive in Baia Mare? I'm pretty sure that what will be decisive is how Viborg come to terms with their continuous problem, the lack of resources, the lack of fit players. That situation has not lightened up much over the past weeks. It has lightened up a bit, but still they are very, very hardly hit on resources. They have a rather great first seven on the court, but when Lars Friis Hansen has to make substitutions, he already has his problems in all the field positions, so to speak. Only the goalkeeper position is very well equipped. I don't think that experience or atmosphere or anything will be very decisive. Of course, the atmosphere in an away game is always important for an away team, but that's more the way that it affects the referees than the way it affects the players, because we will have some very experienced players and also a very experienced coach, Lars Friis Hansen, who has been through almost everything you can be in international top handball. So I don't think Viborg will go down on lack of experience or by being or by feeling the pressure from the home crowd. I think that it will be much to a long way a question of resources. And here, obviously, see Baia Mare having an obvious advantage. They have Tone Thyssen have more options when he wants to make substitutions that Lars Friis Hansen has, and I think that will decide the matter to the advantage of Baia Mare.
Joachim, when we entered the main round, no one really had Baia Mare in their books anymore of making such an impact. Now they've got 6 points. They have played themselves into a position of being able to qualify for the quarterfinals. What do you put that down to mainly? What are the main reasons for you for Baia Mare's successful run in this main round?
From my end, I would say, as you recall, after the preliminary rounds, the results were quite poor for Baia Mare, and at that time I was predicting that they would still make a decent run into the main round, and I think they did that successfully so far. They had a coaching change. I think that had also something to do with it. I agree with Peter largely that I think the difference will make the home crowd and also the defense capabilities. When they play against Viborg, unfortunately, they have, aside from the financial difficulties, they have a very hard time putting a decent team together this year in terms of having so many injuries to deal with. That will plague them, in my view, also in the upcoming game. And so Baia Mare will succeed based on their defensive performance. I wouldn't see it so much that they run away with the result, but I think the defense will make the difference. The two goalkeepers that they have, I think, will make a slight difference in favor of Baia Mare.
What's your stand on this game? The one that many will look at in Group 2.
If we take a look at the overall performance first in the group phase, I think that Viborg played much better than Baia Mare. It's the same situation in the main round also. But if we take a look at the matches between these two teams, then we have Baia Mare that won in Denmark, and now we have Baia Mare that's playing on home court. As Joachim said, I believe that their defense and their goalkeeper give advantage to Baia Mare, and I think that they will manage to win this game at home.
Adrian, staying with Baia Mare still for a bit, and I have to admit I do not remember who it was, but I think we had people seeing them all the way going to the Final Four in Budapest here in our Hangouts. What is the what's the mood in Romania if they qualify, or do people say, well, that's their first year quarterfinal, that's been our goal, and let's see what we can do next year?
I think that their biggest challenge is to overcome that quarterfinal if they go there, because they really won the Final Four. They were struggling in the first part of the season, but now with Tone Tiseli, something changed. Remarkably, the players decided to speak English in between the games and into the games, because the main language was Romanian, even if there were players from Russia and Brazil, and even Lois Abing, who is from the Netherlands. So I think this helped them a lot to get here in the position to go to the quarterfinals. I really think that Baia Mare will go to the Final Four if they manage to go to the quarterfinals, because they are dosing their play. They are trying to get their tiredness away, because this is a big challenge for them, being in a fight against CSM Bucharest for the championship title in Romania. And nowadays, I think Baia Mare is favorite, even if they play against Dinamo or against Vardar, because I think Baia Mare can do better at home in front of their home fans. And like Peter said before, Baia Mare has a lot of options in their team, 2 players for each position, and that's a very big advantage when you have strong games and such tight games.
Peter, this is like almost all in favor of Baia Mare. Give us just like 2 or 3 very simple, straightforward reasons why this is not going to happen, and why Viborg will be eventually one of the 4 teams going from Group 2 to the quarterfinal.
Well, let's not forget that even if Viborg lose, they still have a very good chance to go to the quarterfinal. But if I should point out Viborg's hopes to get something out of the match in Baia Mare, I would say 2 things. One, their experience. They have some very experienced players with led by umpire Rikke Skov, who has tried everything there is to try in international top handball, and who has a very, very great influence on her teammates. So the experience and the experienced players that Viborg have, they don't have many players, but most of those they have are very experienced. That speaks in their favor, and the fact that they are simply underdogs. No one really expects anything from them in the Baia Mare. That also speaks in their favor. They can play relatively freely. Of course, there's always a limit as to how freely you can play when you are under pressure, that you have to get a point or 2 to make sure to go to the quarterfinal. But still, they are underdogs in a way that you can't really expect them to make wonders down there. So I would say that's two points that speak in favor of Viborg. It's not much, but that's what they'll have to cling to. But their main book, what they will mostly have to cling to, is what's going on somewhere else in Metz, where Metz are playing Györ. I'm pretty sure that is what Viborg will have to hang their hat on at the end.
How many people, how many spies are Viborg and Baia Mare sending over to France to follow the game?
I don't know. I don't know if Viborg are sending any. They may just be following the match on what information they are going to get. My idea is, or my expectation is, that they don't want to hear anything from that game during their own game, so they'll probably want to wait till after the game to know if they are in the quarterfinal or not. If they get at least a point in Baia Mare, they don't have to be interested in the next game at all. But if they lose, they will of course be interested in how that match has turned out.
Well, let's have a look at this game. Metz welcomes Györ at the same time, so both matches obviously take place at the same time. And Joachim, what do you say? Is that a possible win for Metz? Even though they lost 31-27 the first leg, but there's nothing at stake anymore for Györ.
That's right. That's exactly why I probably go against consensus. I see Metz winning that game and advancing. For the simple reason there's nothing to win or lose for Györ anymore. They may take actually the perspective to rest some of their key players to not incur any injuries. Whereas Metz, I think they will throw everything they have at Györ to assure that they move on into the quarterfinals. That's as far as I would see it in that match. I know that quality-wise, probably Györ is maybe a little bit better, but given the circumstances, I would say Metz will do it. They will do it.
I mean, what do you think? Do you agree with Joachim? And he just said, I mean, he goes against consensus, so you should obviously tell us.
Yes, I do agree. I think that Györ has made everything clear. The second position is secure for them, so they have nothing to show on this game. On the other side, Metz are willing to win. They are playing at home. Plus, they have Anna Gross, which was amazing in the first game against Györ. She scored 11 goals. She's in the top 3 scorers in this league, in this season of the Champions League. So if you are having great player who is among the scorers, then if you are playing at home, then you are sure that the victory will be on your side. So I win that game.
Well, so you know already 2 people in favor of Metz here. That's Adrian. What do you say?
I'd say the game is wide open because even if Györ are through and are on the second place, they can't leapfrog Larvik. I think they are the more experienced team and the better team, and I think they will be throwing the game at Larvik and would do a very good game there. But we know that Györ has also a lot of injuries. They are missing key players, and I don't know. Maybe they would like to have their players try to do crazy schemes or another to have some to try some new schemes. So I think the game is wide open. But Györ has to be the favorite, even if the Metz have to win in order to qualify.
Okay. Well, before we move on to Group 1, because that's already been a very interesting discussion here on Group 2, I'd like to ask all 4 of you, with just half the predictions that we usually have at the end. Peter, out of these 3 teams, obviously Larvik first, you're second, but 3 and 4.
Baia Mare third and Viborg fourth. I don't see Metz making it.
Okay. So that means that Györ beats Metz,
Yes.
and Baia Mare probably beats Viborg, or they play draw. Okay. Joachim, how do you see the end of this group?
Yes, as I said, I see a Metz win, and I think we bring them in 3rd position when they win.
Yeah, if they win, they're on 8 points. Yeah.
Yeah, they bring them in 3rd, and Baia Mare also will win against Viborg.
Yeah.
Maybe tight game, but they will manage and force for Baia Mare.
Okay. Yeah. So that's correct, because that if Metz and Baia Mare are equal on points, then Metz will be ahead of Baia Mare in the end. So Viborg out. No luck for the Danes.
Not the season.
Amina, who's lucky in your final result of Group 2?
As I already said, I believe that Metz will win at home, so they will be on the 3rd position, and then Baia Mare wins against Viborg. They will finish 4th.
Okay.
And I hope Vardar finish 2nd, so they will meet.
Oh, we're going to talk about this where they finish second. That's a very interesting constellation. Obviously, they're coming up in Group 1. Just quickly, Adrian, what's your stand on the final standings in Group 1?
Györ will win at 2 goals, at a 2-goal difference against Metz, and Baia Mare will win by 5 goals against Viborg. So Baia Mare will be 3rd and Viborg fourth.
Viborg fourth. Okay. Well, it's just going to take another 48 hours until we know, but it's definitely going to be tight games coming up there in Group 2. However, equally tight is actually the situation in Group 1, where we have Vardar, Thüringer, and Dynamo in various with various constellations of possible final standings. I mean, let's repeat what you just said. You just hope that Vardar finishes in second position. Is that correct?
Yes, I hope that they will manage. I mean, I'm sure that they have the capabilities to win tomorrow. The team is not playing really good this season, but in the last match against Leipzig, they showed that they can play good in defense. They missed Lekic because she was ill, but now Lekic is back. Although there is one problem with Anja Althaus, who has a broken nose. 2 days ago in a match in the Macedonian League, she got this injury, but the doctor say that she will play. So if she will be in the squad, all chances are on Vardar's side. I hope that the team will finally start looking better and play better. They have learned their lesson. Now Pitlik is in charge also to give some tips on Indira for how she should guide the team. And I think Vardar can make it.
Okay, but that's very bold of you saying that that's enough to beat them by 9 goals. I mean, Joachim, being on a run is one thing, the return of Lekic is another thing, but you need 9, you need to beat a team like Dynamo by 9 goals.
Yes, and Vardar is typically not a team that runs. It's really a very slow handball for my taste. And so far, given the quality of their players, to me at least, a disappointment. That may very well change now with Jan Pitlik having joined Vardar. But can he do enough to speed up the team, so to speak, and get, for example, the line player more involved? Typically, in my view, weakness, they don't play with a line player very frequently. But with regards to Dynamo, I don't think it will be a blowout, like that they get the 9 goals that they need. They will win the game, no doubt about that. But I don't see that they get the margin that they need.
Peter, Jan Pitlik's been mentioned twice already, once by Amina, once by Joachim. How is he perceived in Denmark and the job he's doing at Vardar?
Well, obviously he seems to have been able to, if not do wonders in Vardar, at least add some stability and some self-confidence to the team, which they seem to be missing, at least for the first part of the main rounds. So it seems to have been a good investment to attach into the team. After all, maybe after a few starting problems. So things seem to be developing quite fine between him and India also. So it's probably a further asset for Vardar. Just like everyone seems to believe, also believe that Vardar will also win the last match, but a 9-goal win, I don't see that coming. Just as Joachim said, Vardar usually don't run fast, and at least Jan Pitlik have not taught them that yet. Neither has he yet introduced the 7 against 6 play, which he was so fond of in the Danish national team. So I don't see maybe Vardar will, if they lead by 6 or 7 goals with 5 minutes left, then they may try that Pitlik's new tactic with 7 against 6 and try to get the last 2 or 3 goals. But realistically, I don't see that coming. Vardar will win, but not nearly by anything that looks like 9 goals.
Adrian, can you jump to Amina's side and give her some backing why Vardar could probably beat Dynamo by 9 goals?
I think it's very hard to win by 9 goals in the EHF Champions League right now, because all the teams are very good, but A 9-goal margin requires almost a perfect game, and I didn't see Vardar playing perfect for 60 minutes. So I think it's very hard for them to go to that length to win by 9 goals. It's definitely doable, but they need a very good game from Penezic, a very good game from Lekic, and I think a top defense, because Dinamo has these weapons in the backcourt. Dmitrieva, who had a very nice season, also Kochetova, also Akopian. So they need to be blocked, and I think it's hard to do that. There are very good 3 backs, and like I said, Vardar needs to be perfect, and they were far from it in the first part of the main round.
What's your general stand on the Dinamo team, Adrian? You managed a strong backcourt line. You managed one of their talents, Daria Dimitreva. Because yeah, I mean they're now second. They probably finished second, which will give them a third place team from Group 2. So we will eventually see them at the Final Four, and that's probably definitely not a place where anyone expected them before this season.
I know you have them pegged like a dark horse for this season, but it's very hard for them when Dmitrieva or Kochetova or Kopian are not playing good, because I think they lack something in the pivot play, in the wings play, but they have a very good player, a very good goalkeeper in Anna an experienced Russian goalkeeper who can make very good games, like against Thüringer. What I didn't like about Dinamo in the Thüringer game, the last game they played on Sunday, they lacked a 4-goal advantage after a goalkeeper goal from Sadoikina, a nice goal. But that should have motivated them, but it lacked the motivation in the final minutes. Thüringer managed to came back and score 4 goals in that space, and it was a draw. Now Dinamo have to play against Vardar for the second place.
I mean, obviously, Vardar play Dinamo now. Where do you see personally Dinamo's strengths, and where do you see their weaknesses?
First of all, I'm really surprised of what Dinamo has done so far in the Champions League. If we take a look at their previous results in this competition in the last few years, they were not able to go out from the group. Then in the Russian Champions League, they also are not playing very good. They lost few important matches, like against Astrakhanochka, Rostov. They even lost from Lada on home field. So I'm really surprised of how are they making such good results in the Champions League. So I guess they're putting some different strategy and focusing on the Champions League this season. So their strength, as Adrian said, their backcourt line. They're playing very good with Chet and Akopian too, but the pivot line is not really brilliant this season. So as I previously said, I hope that Vardar will win. They will win tomorrow, but win by 9. That's my hope, but let's see what will happen tomorrow.
Joachim, let's look at the main round, and Dinamo obviously played already quite a successful group phase. After that group phase, did you expect them to stay at this level and place where they are actually placed at the moment? Was that a surprise for you?
No, not exactly. I would have thought it's more a function that Vardar had such a roller coaster during the main round. I think it's a coincidence, in my view, maybe a strong word, that Dinamo is in front of Vardar, but in terms of strengths, the abilities, the talent that Vardar has, they should be in second place. Yeah, they had all the games away. Leipzig, of course, their game in Dinamo, that was one of the worst games I have seen from Vardar. That would have been an ideal situation to not make this game on Sunday or tomorrow. This weekend anyway.
I have to check as well. Sorry. Where am I? Dynamo Vardar is on Saturday tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes. But they could have settled that. Vardar could have settled that in Dynamo already, and that's where they showed one of their poorest games. So, to me, Dynamo is really a miracle that they're sitting in second position. If they stay there, I don't see them going very far beyond that. In my calculation, Baia Mare would end up in fourth spot in the other group, and I would see if Dynamo remains in the second spot of the first group, that Baia Mare will beat them in 2 games.
Peter, picking up on what Joachim just said, what do you see as the main reasons for that poor run that Vardar had, in particular in the until the first part of the main round?
Obviously, they have had problems making all their star players functioning as a team, and it seems that this has changed partly probably due to the arrival of Jan Pytlik, but of course we shouldn't give him all the credit. I also think that simply the players have grown together over the season to form a team, to form a unit to a higher degree than they have done previously. And that has made them meet the expectations more lately than they did at the beginning. Seen in that respect, Vardar can of course be the team which will really leapfrog the others at the end and may surprise us all even at the final four. But of course, first they will have to get past the obstacle, which is the quarterfinal. And it seems to me, at least, and it seems apparently to most of us, that they will enter the quarterfinals from third position, and that will of course give them a more difficult quarterfinal match. And we should also bear in mind that it would also mean that they have their second leg on away ground, which is usually seen as a disadvantage. So we should be careful not to still have too large high expectations in Vardar, but they're obviously on the right track. That seems to be obvious.
Mm. Excuse me. Now, this very difficult quarterfinalists, very likely a quarterfinal against Györ, and would that definitely be the end of the campaign for Vardar, assuming it comes that way? Joachim, what do you think?
That will be a very, very tight game. Obviously, the crowds in both stadiums will be amazing, in Györ as well as in Sofia. It will be tough. That will be a tough call. I would say Györ, by a very, very close margin, combined maybe by 1 goal, that they advance to the final four.
Amina, is a potential quarterfinal against Györ something the people are already talking about in Skopje?
Oh, I think that vacant position. But if this is the case, then Vardar has to play good in the away matches. So far, they play very terribly in the away matches. If they do this and meet Györ, then they have a chance. But let's first see how will the main round finish and who will they first meet in the quarterfinals.
Still with us? Yeah. The third team that is still in the mix and can stir it up a little bit is Thüringer HC. What do you make of their season and their campaign so far, Adrian?
Well, it's been an up and down campaign for them, but of course, quarterfinal berth for them is a very nice thing that they achieved. But I think that playing against Larvik or against Györ, it will be too hard. However, they have a very nice team. They play very nice and fast handball that their coach Herbert Müller employed also when he was in Romania at Brașov. They have very good wings, very fast wings. nice back player in Nadia Nadgornaya with she's scoring a lot of goals, and I think they really their strength is more the strength. Their strength is that they play as a team. That's their most important strength. Not the players, but the whole team.
Peter, how do you see Thüringer in this competition, and you think they can bring another surprise, or is quarterfinal the end of it?
I think that so far Thüringer have lived up to what we might expect of them, looking at the playing and material, the squad that Herbert Müller has had at his disposal. They've done what we might expect, and qualifying for the quarterfinal, I think that is what they can hope from their Champions League campaign, and also think that that's what we may expect of them. They will undoubtedly finish fourth in Group 1, and that will mean that they will be out against Larvik in the quarterfinal. And as I see it, that will definitely be the end. I'm always very careful, very cautious to say definitely in connection with handball, at least particularly this season when we have seen so many surprises. But I will run the risk, take the risk, and say that Thüringer HC will definitely not make it any further than the quarterfinal, where Larvik will be sending them out.
Joachim, given your predictions for Group 1 and Group 2, which quarterfinal are you looking forward to with the most?
Okay, the quarterfinals, the way I see them shaping up will be Budućnost, Baia Mare.
Yeah.
Then Dynamo Metz, and Vardar will play Györ, and Thüringer will face Larvik.
And which is the one you're most looking forward to?
In terms of the quarterfinal game?
Yeah.
Of course, in the Vardar Györ game. Excellent, yes, that would be a final in the Final Four as well. That would be very exciting games, both games.
Amina, I know you're very much in favor of Vardar, but honestly asking you, what is, from your point of view, the likelihood that Vardar will avoid a quarterfinal against Györ? And don't say it's 100%.
No, it's not 100%. It all depends on what they will show tomorrow. They will have time. Even if they face Györ, they will have time. If we take a look of how good they play, both teams play good in this season, then Györ is in favorite position in that game. But let's say if Vardar managed to play good away game, then at home with the support that Vardar will gain from our home fans, then Vardar has a chance. But I say has a chance. If we choose a favorite, then Györ will be the favorite in that game. And plus their motivation will be bigger because they will have to play once more in the... Can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of cut off a bit. Once more in the...
Yes, they will once more play in Budapest.
Okay.
Their motivation is bigger, so they are in this match.
Adrian, will the motivation of Baia Mare be enough to beat whomever they're going to face in Group 1? Sorry.
It's a tough question because Baia Mare, if they are going to the quarterfinals, they have a lot to play for. There will be so much pressure for them because nowadays almost all the town is cheering for them, and it would be a very big disappointment if they don't go to the Final Four. But I think they have what they need to go there. It's a bunch of experienced players who enjoyed very nice matches and wins in the Champions League. Nikita, Elisei with Olkim, they played the final twice. I don't know, once, sorry, but I think that Baia Mare is going to get better and better with Tisely. He's doing a nice job. He's tweaking the attack. A lot of goals being scored by Baia Mare right now. They are better and better, and I think their main disadvantage would be that they would play the away game, the second leg in a way against the other player, the other team.
Peter, if I understood you correctly, you see Group 1 finishing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you see Group 1 finishing Budućnost, Dinamo, Vardar, Thüringer in that kind of order.
Correct.
Yeah. Which of these 4 teams do you think we'll eventually see at the Final Four?
From Group 1, we will only see Budućnost in the Final Four.
Oh, okay. Joachim, do you agree?
Yes.
Just Budućnost?
Yes, just Budućnost.
Okay. And then we'll see Larvik, Györ, and Baia Mare from Group 2.
Yes, that's my opinion. That's my prediction. The same as my prediction in the previous hangout. I haven't changed my mind about that.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Good insights ahead of tomorrow's and Sunday's games. For everyone who's been following us tonight, obviously follow the games. They're all live on EHFTV.com. And on Sunday night, we'll be a lot wiser of whether our experts were actually right or not.
Which we probably weren't.
It's easier this way talking about the women's, because your men's counterparts, they had to select the whole team for the handball manager. It's maybe something for next season. Well, thanks again. Thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we'll see each other again soon. There's definitely going to be another hangout ahead of the quarterfinals, so a lot more chance to talk about the competition here in the Women's EHF Champions League. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.